The new Marker Plus. This is exciting stuff, guys. This looks amazing just as it stands in this box. All of their new packaging is so textured, and they even have these little kind of hairline dust elements throughout the packaging material. It almost looks hyper recycled, you know what I mean? Like you're making paper mache in elementary school where they show you how to press the paper. And these nice kind of differences in line pressure sensitivities are quite nice as well. So you would open it by pulling this strip on the side, and that ensures that it can never be resealed, so you know you're getting something new. Now pulling this out, we should see some, oh, look at that layout. That's very nice. So we have the marker on the right and the marker tips on the left. Let's check out the marker tips first. Why is that so heavy, I'm wondering? That's a really, really heavy approach to some marker tips. And whoa, look at that. Oh, okay, well, you know, this kind of contradicts the message so far, is that they're going this recycled paper route, and then they give you this really high density polyethylene HDPE plastic box, which is quite silly. But let's see what we got here. We have some tips in there. Okay, so I can't reach them. I'm assuming you push the pen in and then it grabs each respective tip. So we're not able to actually reach those right now, but we'll show you that in a second. So I'm guessing that this is not a traditional Wacom pen in the sense that it uses the graphite tips, much like they did on their previous generations and much like everyone else in the industry uses, from the Scribe to iFlytek to bigme to Onyx, etc. You have quick start guide and some light information here. And now we have the pen. Wow, that's interesting. This feels like sandpaper. My goodness, look at that. Okay, so we're going to take this little sheath off here. And it looks like, yes, as suspected, this is using more of a conical tip, and it is a hyper proprietary tip. So this is going to be like something you would see on the Lenovo. This is going to be like almost, you know what this is evident of? And I'm going to reach off camera here. This looks like this Apple Pencil here. You know what I mean? The approach that they have these cones, these little tents, if you will, and how you would swap the tip is you would take out your old tip like that, and then you would put this in there to grab a new tip. So this is going to break outside of the mold of being a conventional Wacom pen, although we believe it should work on everything, but we won't know that till we test. But the final thing we need to do before we continue is check the weight of this, because this is a fairly heavy pen. It is on the heavier side. So we have 18 grams worth of meat here. And for some basis of comparisons, we have the Apple Pencil at 18 grams as well. Let's get a more kind of heavy technical pencil as well, like the V Woods. That one's coming in at 16. We'll just do two more. We'll do a DPT stylus coming in at 16 as well. And we'll grab the Amazon Kindle Scribe pen, which comes in at 15. So it is on the heavier side of styli, so let's test it out. The pen, although beautiful, has one fatal flaw. It doesn't work on anything, and that is very unfortunate for this pen. I really will like to see them just kind of keep it going with cross compatibility. As a control, we have the Paper Pro at the top, and you will see it does not work on the Scribe, it does not work on the Remarkable 2, it does not work on the V Woods. As a reverse control, we have a Scribe pen right here that works on the Scribe, works on the Remarkable 2, works on the V Woods, and doesn't work on the Paper Pro. This is a huge hit to the viability of this as a potential product outside of this one unit. However, it is not meant to be used on those. It's meant to be used on this. So we're just going to go and look at a few things here. We have 9 different pens, and as you see in the review video, if you head over there, it does have the ability to use colors for each one. However, some colors are throttled. For example, if you go to the highlighter, you get orange, but orange seems to be absent from many of the other color choices due to the inability to create orange easily. So we're just going to do some simple tests, and we'll use a ballpoint pen, pencil, because those are going to be kind of the main go-tos. So as you choose a thicker line, don't worry, it has pressure sensitivity. You don't have to live and die by these 3 settings. This is just to get you going. I've got to say, in my 16 years, 10 of which have been involved in e-notes, this is, by no doubt in my mind, top 3. It's not quite the best we've felt in the game. A lot of it has to do with the fact that these tips are more on the plasticky side rather than the graphite composite side, like some of the best in the games have been using. Unfortunately, they fall a little bit short in that department, but this is definitely top of the clock. This is a very nice, grippy, gritty feel. This pen feels almost like exposed rough wood. Intentionally exposed rough wood. This wasn't a mistake to make it so grippy. There's so many peaks and valleys on here, you almost don't get any sort of fingerprint or sweat slip. It's such a high grip environment, and the device has a high level of grip as well. It barely slides over the screen. However, as you saw in the review, that overcompensation to make it such a raw, rough, rugged experience kind of comes at the detriment of the screen quality, because the colors aren't as crisp as other Gallery 3 devices. It's actually a little bit more fuzzy because it almost looks like it's peppered with this layer of like film almost. It's very unfortunate how some of the colors just don't come through the way they should using Gallery 3. Also, the fact that it's not using 300 ppi, so they don't even have pixel density to kind of make up the slack and pick up the difference and supplement it. It's really just kind of more on the blurry side. But that layer they put on the top most definitely helps its case in terms of drawing. Now, there's a couple shortcomings, as you'll see in our review video and our other coverage. When you do draw, it's not that accurate. For example, right now it looks like this sludgy mess. Not until you stop writing, let it flash a couple times, and then create the color it's supposed to be, do you understand what you've even wrote. So unfortunately, they're trying to use Gallery to their advantage, and this is the compromise. So what I mean by that is, if I have red and green on the screen and I want to put in a blue, and I want to say, okay, what is this? I don't really know what it's supposed to look like. It's purple and black and weird, and it's bleeding and blending. Once you let go, then it looks great. But not until you let go does it look like that. So we have a little bit of trouble understanding how to draw with that because of the inherent technology limitations of Gallery, because it shouldn't look as poor as that until it looks as good as that. So that is really the only shortcoming we see with this pen and note-taking combo. This really is extraordinary, this pen, and I would say maybe the folios are not worth it to the degree of increasing your price tag, because this can become quite a pricey unit. But the pen, I would say that the Marker Plus is a must. At the back, you have an eraser as well. Now, as you erase things, it gives you a kind of transparent, opaque idea of what it's going to look like when it goes away. And that's really nice, because then it still keeps it there like, are you sure? And then when you let go, it then goes away, and you can say, you know what, I want to undo that to bring it back. So it's very nice how they give you that option. The eraser is also incredible. It has an incredible amount of grip on the back. It feels like you're erasing. You know, I have been in this industry for a long time, and one of the best erasers in the game was the Staedtler Norris Digital Jumbo, and that one had remained top for erasers for quite some time. A little bit of a niche segment of Wacom e-notes, but I would say this eraser takes that helm away from Staedtler after so many years. This eraser is insane how accurate it is and how nicely it shifts and it pivots ever so slightly. It feels good. It looks great. It doesn't leave any marring or damage on the outside. It is quite a phenomenal eraser. If erasing is something that is of concern to you, this really does it to a very good degree. It doesn't erase it live like a V-Woods does. It leaves that little breadcrumb of a remains around, and because it is gallery, there is quite a bit of staining. You can see there's still the yellow there. Even after several refreshes, it's still not gone. However, the eraser itself on a physical level is quite beautiful. The pen is nice in the hand, it's nice on the page, and it's nice on the eraser. It hits every single point. There's really nothing wrong with this pen. In fact, even if it has a downside of having to be charged, when you put it on the side, it charges automatically with a little indicator showing it is charging. That is a little bit of a downside because we like pens for the most part that are passive. So like a V-Woods pen that doesn't need batteries. But this is more akin to something like the DPT pen that needed to be charged at the back. Although this one does it through the side mount, which is honestly the best of a bad situation. I don't want those quadruple A batteries. I don't want a lithium ion on board that I have to plug in. This is honestly really good, and it charges quickly. Really, the only downside of this entire pen is the fact that unfortunately it doesn't work on anything else. Other than that, I can't think of a single thing wrong with this. It is close to a masterpiece in Wacom.